All right, everyone. We are back with the next episode of the Raiders Rambles. I am Jolt, your chief host of the show, and joining me, as always, is none other than my co-host, Noble.
I can't wait for the last quarter of this one because damn.
Hmm
Yeah, we got a lot of bonkers stories coming up, man.
Yeah, and I know it's crazy too, because joining us today we have our usual suspect, Orange Doggo Evera.
Hello, everyone. Yes, 'tis I, the orange doggo bad. But it's all good. Happy Friday the 13th. I didn't even realize that this episode was going to be on Friday the 13th. It's funny, there's like a horror movie that comes out like this day. Seems like a lot of horror movies or slasher films and stuff like that do seem to come out on Friday the 13th, like for marketing purposes. But so far, I've had some good luck today, and let's just keep that rolling. I don't know about you guys.
Oh
Everything
yes,
all
it's
good?
not lost on me that we've had two Friday the 13th back to back as well, it being February last time and now being March.
Yeah, right on.
Why
All
do you
right.
think it's just some sort of let's all go out here and celebrate 2 months worth of bad luck day in a row and let friggin' horror and misfortune come our way.
Oh, goodness. Well, given the trajectory of the timeline in 2026, you never know what's going to happen. Things are pretty wild. So, yeah, let's see what we come up with this week.
Well, don't take it too hard. Don't take it to heart though, but hey, it is just what it is. It's just a
I'm not
collective
like
thing.
super suspicious, superstitious or anything, but I don't know. Sometimes things just align, and coincidences. When there's a certain amount of coincidences, it's like a pattern.
Yeah, exactly. Almost as if it doesn't happen by accident. It just happens.
Does anybody
That's
dress up as a Templar on Halloween, or is that just sort of past everyone? Oh, sorry, on Friday the 13th, or is that just like
Yes, my dude. I did that actually at Halloween once. My dad made me a costume, and so did my grandma. So my dad and grandma made me a Knights Templar costume. My grandma knitted the chainmail like out of gray or like silver colored thread, and then we used a
yeah?
pillowcase, put a cross on it, and I dressed up as like one of the Knights Templars. Yeah, I think I was like maybe 7 or 8. It's a
I
good
meant
costume.
more
I
for
still have it in the
Friday
closet.
the 13th.
Oh,
Sorry.
as what?
No, no, no. If
I
you
thought
want Friday the 13th costume, you are basically against the grain of horror. You're better off getting one like a vampire hunter.
I'm pretty sure the Friday the 13th became a day because that's when the Templars were like burned alive or something.
Oh, is that why? Crap, I didn't know that. I did dress up as a Knights Templar for Halloween once, but no, I'm thinking maybe a Halloween, not Halloween costume, like a Friday the 13th, like dress up as a black cat. Right? Wouldn't that be bad luck related? Not very historical, but
No, you'd be
I don't
giving people bad luck.
know. Oh, oh goodness. Okay. It's like, oh crap, there's a black cat. Run.
Yeah, crazy how that
Like,
works.
yeah, I don't know. Where it's like how people avoid certain numbers or things. Even like buildings, especially like in New York City. Did you know that like they don't even have like the 13th floor? Like in
A
buildings,
lot
it'll
of
be like 11,
basically like
12,
I've been
14.
in a lot of hotels and they basically say either 12A, 12A and that
Hmm.
or
Yeah, like
or
they don't
heck
have the 13th floor.
yeah or heck if I think I could probably say about a funny story how speaking of unfortunate numbers, I was in China like many years ago, and you would think that they would skip the fourth floor because four is the number of death in China.
Oh,
So if
okay.
the elevators say floor 3 and floor 3A.
Wow. Yeah. Okay. That's interesting. Similar thing here in America. Like that. Yeah. I mean, if people, I guess, whether it's the construction worker, like whoever designed the building, is thinking, all right, well, I'll just do this for everyone else, and then they perpetuate this idea of superstition. It's pretty cool.
Right, like it
I
all,
worked on
like I
the
mean, it all
13th
goes back to
floor.
the whole building blocks, really. Like who, the designers and the architects and all that, and the planners are superstitious. Like on the floor, like you see the blueprints on the floor plan is like floor 1, okay, floor 2, floor 3, and then next thing you have the drafts, the blueprint for floor 3A if you're in China.
Right. Huh. That's
Or like
pretty
if you're in everywhere else,
interesting.
you have like the thing for floor 12A.
Right. Yeah. So it would be like a 12A or even like 666. Like that number. A lot of people don't even use that, like on license plates and stuff like that. If it's automatic, they'll change it.
Yeah, crazy how that works. Because on the way to the friggin' capital, like tune into 666 AM radio frequency for emergency broadcasting, and it's like, dude, and it's on a massive road sign in plain sight on the motorway.
Oh my god,
far out.
That sounds like a joke. Like if you're driving past that sign, you'd be like, "Wait a minute,
Right, exactly. What are they
what's
trying
the
to tell
devil
us here?
broadcasting?" I don't know.
Anyway, well, all that stuff with misfortune and superstition aside, let's get to the meat and bones of this week's crazy, shall we?
Yes, the flesh and bones. Let's drink their
Right.
fluids.
So, who likes money? I know we all do. But now, who's gonna like the new money from Bongland, the United Kingdom, whatever you want to call it now?
Ah, yes,
Apparently-
the once great British Empire.
Yes. So now, apparently, they're replacing Winston Churchill with a hedgehog.
What?
What?
I believe
What?
that's referring to the currency imagery. Isn't
That's
It is, yeah.
precisely what it is, and we'll get to that right in just a second. So, in the first paragraph, in a stunning betrayal, the Bank of England has announced plans to scrub Winston Churchill and other iconic British figures from the nation's banknotes, ludicrously swapping them out for images of wildlife like hedgehogs, badgers, and otters.
I see. Now, I might be a little bit out of the loop here, but I always thought that the British currency always had their monarch on the banknotes and coins, whether
Right,
it be
and
Elizabeth
here's the thing,
II or more recently the Queen.
because Commonwealth nations have like even Australia and that have on one face of the banknote you have the mugshot of the head of state, the monarch, King Charles. King Charles's friggin' mug. That's what on
Okay.
on the Australian
Then-
banknote, I'm still holding onto it, and and on the and that's right.
But on the other side, they have Winston Churchill. I mean, he's a historical figure,
On
very important.
on one side of the
in
British
history.
crown, you'll have Winston Churchill, and
Yeah,
right now, in
but now they want to
dollars,
replace him with an arrow.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason that, well, let's just read on with this article of the reason that they state for this, which is pretty silly.
Right. This comes after a so-called public consultation where Nature's Team supposedly won out, but the trackers see it as the latest chapter in a relentless campaign to dismantle British heritage under the guise of progress. So, on other articles, you'll find that they were going to redo the banknotes, and then they were asking what themes should they put into the next generation of British banknotes. They had things like wildlife, cultural significances, like monuments, and I guess on public pick, wildlife was the one that won out.
I can understand why someone would be pissed at this. But my question would be how many people are versus how many people want it changed?
Well, here's the thing. In the article, they had quotes around the word progressive. So they're thinking that getting rid of historically significant figures is somehow progress because some of these people are considered divisive by the woke-tards. That's the thing. So they use currency as a kind of a political gambling chip at this point. That's what it seems like they're doing.
Right.
It's not just
So-
it's
Well-
a cute animal. Nah, it's more than that.
From my point of view, it seems like, and this is just how it seems, the public's voted to remove him. At least who did.
Oh.
And
Right.
I would question
I've
the
got,
way it's
yeah,
been presented in the news article, whether or not it would be considered woke or not.
right. Now, this
Well,
is
is it
just one
popular
thing of it, though,
opinion?
but
Is that
I've
your
got
thing?
other articles to present the case. So before that, though, live comment. Are they going to replace Queen Elizabeth with Princess Diana? No, they already did that with King Charles, the current friggin' crown bearer
Oh.
with a mug. I mean,
If you're American and you're kind of wondering why we would have like the current ruler on the back of the coinage, it's because that individual basically represents the country. Anybody who leaves England and say goes to America, their passport has been issued, and the single entity behind the authority of that is the king currently. It's the same with currency.
right.
Well-
So we've got, yeah. Now here's another different article to say this so and so and so as to the justification for all this. Right here, so they're basically getting rid of like the, all these historical figures, not just Churchill, Jane Austen, James W. Turner, Alan Turing. They said, they surveyed 44,000 responses, and 60% of them wanted nature to feature ahead of architectural landmarks, historical figures, arts, culture, and sport, innovation, and noteworthy milestones.
Oh, milestones. Yes, the all-powerful hedgehog, of course. That's very nationalistic.
That's very, very much like a symbol of of Britain, as well as all the other animals of steel. Oh my goodness. That reminds me. Let's get to that point. If we're okay, if we're going to go and follow with the animal banknotes and stuff, the bank said it will hold a second public consultation in the summer to gather views on the kind of nature that people would like to see featured on the notes, with a short list to be drawn up by a panel of wildlife experts. England is home to a range of wildlife, including foxes, badgers, beavers, squirrels, otters,
Yes.
deer, and seals.
Okay. So I'm sure if they were to replace them with a squirrel, you'd probably have a different vibe about this. You're totally for it.
Oh yeah, I would basically be cashing in on all the next generation of Bongland money.
All right, so they're not
Yes.
specifically targeting Churchill, but they want to redesign the currency. That if they had the nation sit down and actually vote properly on this, and it was decided by a majority to like, yeah, no, we don't want to have Churchill on a coin anymore, on the note anymore. Like, oh, okay,
right? Because they said like they wanted something that was all this stuff that would celebrate UK's iconic items and and all that without it being quote unquote divisive.
See, that's the problem. That's what I mentioned earlier when they had air quotes around progressive, and it's all about, oh well, he's divisive. No, he's not. It's a nationalistic character, part of English history, and it seems like they just want to get rid of history, like revisionist kind of style. If they really wanted to put animals on their banknotes, what they could do for England and maybe put like an elephant, because they used to rule India. So that'd be kind of cool. They had like the imperialist India elephant or something like that.
They could put a lion on the currency as well, because lions aren't around today, but back when, Camelot and all that sort of shit was apparently playing out, they did have lions.
And lion is basically the most well-known symbol of Britain. if at that.
Yeah, so the hedgehog doesn't really make too much sense to me. This is obviously some political movement, and they're trying to just convince people to vote for it in a certain way. But over time, it's just going to degrade. Like, there's going to be less nationalism in England. People are going to
Oh,
care less
England's
and less.
no. England's fucked the way it is currently. I mean, you can't go out
No.
walking a dog without it becoming national headline news because you're a Karen for walking your dog in public.
Right. Yeah. And all that
That
stuff.
or
Like
there's no-go zone.
I've even had to tell my folks don't go to the UK even though they do want to go there. And if they want to go to other parts of Europe again, I would tell them go somewhere else. Yes. That reminds me.
Yeah,
Okay.
unfortunately, this is all a symptom of just the change in culture. Britain used to be the British Empire, controlled
But
over a
now
quarter of the
it's-
entire planet.
Yeah, but there's now big rooted problems, not the least of which is them, rapidly abandoning the thing that actually made them great in the first place.
There's also
Exactly.
the lack of policing and allowing people to basically do whatever they
that's
want.
that's a byproduct of their abandonment of one thing that made them great in the first place, which was, of course, them being a Christian country.
Well, it used to be. I mean, it still kind of is, but you have like these woke politicians who are so open-minded that their brains fell out. Then they let their country be invaded by Islam, basically. I mean, what happened? England is cooked.
Yeah.
To use
Anywho,
plenty of words, or whatever it is.
That's much as we have all this stuff and lamenting about it, though, life coming again, Boombox, you're on a roll. Why not a dragon? Camelot had a dragon for the crest. Wales has a dragon. On the flag.
Oh no! Sorry. Okay, no. Take the weirdest sexual art from E621 that involves a dragon and put that on the currency.
There we go.
Okay.
Look at that. Now
As-
we've got
as
furry
an
box.
artist, as a traditional artist who has made quite the hefty amount of dragon yif, I would say that would be pretty darn fascinating to see them actually put a freaking dragon on the English currency. No, I can see that happening in China because they have like dragons in China. That's part of their culture.
No.
That would be cool.
Dragon porn image on the currency.
Okay, well, they're not going to do that, of course.
With everything
Maybe
else that's
more
going on,
so.
that wouldn't be a surprise.
Yeah, if they just had a giant dragon dick getting a paw job. Yeah, that'd be something.
Well, they should.
Don't know if that would
if all, in whatever case, they could probably consider consulting with certain people
Well,
to
like I said,
for that sort of endowed dragon. But this was your idea.
Okay, so what's the deal with the hedgehog? Because that's just an animal that is in England, among others,
And
foxes, squirrels, etc.
In much of the same case, it seems to have been a very big fascination of England because they gave us. Let us not forget that they gave us some of the greatest animal stories ever written.
Animals of Farthing Wood.
Animals of Farthing Wood, Watership Down, Redwall, Dismantle Chronicles, and a whole heap of other things too. Oh my goodness!
Yeah, among others, definitely contributed to the culture.
Don't forget, parents, if you want to traumatize your kids in 2026, definitely have them watch a bunch of those shows.
Yeah.
And if they're hitting their teens, definitely have them watch Captain Pugwash.
Oh, what's that?
Oh no!
Okay, is it something I shouldn't watch? Like Captain Pugwash? I've never heard of that before. If it's going to scar me, then okay.
Master Beats.
Mister, what now? Oh my goodness! What the hell are you talking about?
No, seriously. One of the characters in Captain Pugwash is called Master, and then Bates.
Okay. No, that's not real. No freaking way. Seriously?
Seriously. Joel, do you want to bring up the Wikipedia on the characters in Captain Pugwash?
What
No,
the
not
hell?
right. I can actually
Seriously,
love
that's
that sort of
bonkers,
weird
man.
humor though. Oh,
I kind of want to see it.
oh, okay. Hold on. We'll go look at that in a
Yeah,
second.
just like for a second.
Before that, though,
What
let's
are you
get
talking
back
about?
on track with the last of the
Oh, whatever.
dude. Couple of things like regarding the whole change of banknotes, though, and we'll close this segment out with a survey of what could be on what. So, former business minister Kevin Hollenrake didn't hold back calling the idea bonkers and insisting banknotes should honor historical giants who shaped our nation. Right. Now, ex-business secretary Sir Jacob Rees-Mogg piled on, accusing the bank of lacking seriousness. Animals on notes. What next? Squirrels running the economy?
Yes! Squirrels running the economy. Oh my goodness. It's like that joke from Rick and Morty. Like, you fucked your squirrels, Morty. My God. They control the world. We have to change universes, Morty. The squirrels run everything. Whoever this
That's right.
writer
Next
is,
thing you know,
good
the
job.
country will basically be trading with. Forget all of that. The country will be trading in acorns for currency.
Yeah.
I'm going to take a stab and say there's always the bottle caps.
Oh yeah, like a Fallout, right? Or that's
A
what it
little
is, right?
older.
Final
A little
Fantasy
older
Fallout?
sort of theory. The gods must be crazy.
Now,
Yeah.
before we close this segment off, I would like to take a poll from you. What should feature on the denominations of the British banknotes? Well, four of them to be exact: the £5, the £10, the £20, and the £50. Like, and say they're all animals. What would be your picks?
Oh, that's a good question. Well, definitely elephant. To represent their conquest of India. Lion for Africa. It's like three more. Didn't they have like carrier pigeons or like quails, like some kind of bird?
Mm-hmm. Right.
Maybe a lamb, like a sheep, like a woolly sheep, like for Ireland or Scotland or something.
Okay, I guess
Or
we
a
could
dragon.
probably work with that idea.
Yeah. Other than that, I really don't know.
Oh, what about you, Noble?
I don't know, to be honest. The whole currency thing's usually a throw up in the air. I mean,
No, I
changing
think
it
you've
all
It's
up.
something.
you've lost a couple of great missed opportunities in much the same way that when someone suggested a dragon to be put on the banknotes, why don't we suggest the friggin' Loch Ness monster?
But that's not English.
That would
That's
be
Irish.
culturally significant.
Well, no, it's not
Well,
British.
yeah,
It's
it depends.
Irish.
Yeah, you're right, but it's also the UK. So if they're using the same currency, technically they do own Scotland and Wales, and Northern Ireland, and stuff like that. So
Right, and Loch Ness, of course, it's not Irish, it is Scottish.
Oh, Scottish. Blah.
And so, therefore it is valid grounds to be on the new generation of British banknotes. So why not, mythological animals to be on the banknotes? Great idea. Of course, it goes without saying that I will be an eternal proponent of putting the squirrel on a £5 banknote. Front and center.
yeah, I did. A $5 banknote with a squirrel on the back seems about right. Yeah, but it's like
Yes.
an English squirrel, right? From the
Yeah,
Empire.
the east, the red squirrel, Cyrus vulgaris.
Right on.
Mm-hmm. Right. Because I know if you every in there will basically, come on, put a fox in the banknote. Put a fox in the banknote.
You'd
Oh,
have
yeah.
to question though,
That's what they were gonna say.
which would you use urban or would you use a one in a sort of more like forest area, because they do have different sort of shaped faces.
Probably
I mean,
wild.
That,
Yeah,
right.
probably
They'd
wild.
put in like what? The ever famous red fox. What else would
Well,
they put?
yeah, there are two types. There are two types of breeds now, or species you want to call them, or subspecies. So the type that grows out in the wild, they've got a different skull shape compared to the ones that you find in more urban areas.
Yeah. Good point. So if I was on the board of making currencies and I had to choose an animal, fox related, yeah, I think I would go with the more wild one. That's something that I think people like would relate to more because it's more abstract and yet still culturally relevant. So it would make sense to have that instead of like some domesticated, weird looking thing. Yeah. That or a
Mhm.
squirrel.
Yes,
So,
we run the monies now.
exactly, right? Instead of like what was it Rick and Morty said that they were
I
trying to
know.
like overthrow the government of Argentina or something? The squirrels. Oh my goodness.
Oh,
But is this
we'll
going to
run the
be
world.
official, or are they just talking about this, or is it actually going to be a thing that's actually really going to happen? Like,
They're
are they really
basically
going to?
they're throwing the concept out, but they're doing the whole printings in like the next couple of years. So
Okay.
that dream might come to fruition a good bit later, and that's just what
Okay,
it is.
so it's gonna take some time. I got you. We had a similar issue here in America where the $20 bill, which has always featured President Andrew Jackson, who was ironically against the Federal Reserve and national banks. He's on the $20 bill, the most commonly used bill in the United States. They wanted to change his face out for Harriet Tubman. Put her on there because she was never president or anything. She was basically just a criminal, who refused to do her thing, and she basically just broke the law. And then they want to put her on the dollar bill as an activist. So
Right.
that's how you
So
can use
and
currency
and
to like
that's
promote political motivation.
changing people aside. I have to wonder, like, what's wrong with and U.S. money aside, what's wrong with not just putting significant animals and nature and all that as part of the design motif without removing the significant person from to being the face of the banknote. Because Australia, our banknotes basically we feature the significant person and all their significant works on the art of it, while we feature like the famous nature, like the animals on it and the plants, the wattle and all of that on our banknotes.
Yeah, ours have been getting a little
Right. So
arty-farty of late.
Yeah,
it's something
definitely.
that reflects the country, right? Something that shows something about the nation. It's culturally significant, whether it be if they're going to go like the whole nature and wildlife route. Okay, well, do they have like national animals or things that are significant? Something that can inspire nationalism. Because think about this: currency is something you use every single day. People have it in their wallets. They're interacting with it whenever they make a purchase. So, yeah, you want something that's going to at least have a little bit of semblance of some kind of a national allegiance, right?
I personally would love it if they put Ned Kelly on the $100 bill, or at least the Kelly gang as well.
Oh, that would be very funny in terms of Australia. Yeah, that's like you said, a thing, a well-known a criminal that's become like a sort of like national legend.
Well, technically, he's more like Robin Hood, except real from England.
I mean, works for
But
us.
in like 100 years,
In our
who's going to
context
know
of
that?
Australia.
Sorry?
But like we said, like I was really trying to say is that what's wrong with putting just taking the historical figure, putting them front and center in the bill, and then using the animals and all that nature like a squirrel to being the plastic watermark on the bill. Like
I honestly
You
there's
gotta
think
have
some
one.
sort of
this.
like some sort of artistic harmonic synergy
I
without
think this is something the entire nation should actually vote on.
yeah.
To be honest,
Right,
Yeah,
exactly, and
yeah.
not just like on a small scale. You've got to ask a lot of people.
that'll be 4 hedgehogs, please.
That'll be
Okay, done. Deal. We
exactly.
can just slap the hedgehog on all the friggin' pound notes. Why not?
Yeah, well, if people are conditioned to not like Winston Churchill, oh, he's divisive and rah, 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 I'm so progressive. I want to see an animal on the bill, and then these losers will actually vote for that crap. So that's what they would do. If hopefully most people are not brainwashed into that woke stuff, but they might be. I mean, it's England, so who knows? Whoever's in charge can basically just put on there whatever they want.
All right. So, I think let's wrap this up for now, and we will go on to the next couple of items for the show this week. So we've got two items that are oddly odd weird. Which one would you think you want to start with first? The great knockoff or the one brain that does it all?
Let's do the brain one.
Yes, yes, yes. That's so. If you thought one a monocellular organisms can't do it all, no, it can get. Scientists train a lab-grown human brain cells to play Doom.
Uh-huh.
Now, the whole will it play Doom has basically gone to the lab, and I love this.
Crazy, I know.
It's very
In a
interesting how they were actually able to do this, like scientifically. They basically put some human brain cells onto a computer chip and stimulated it by noise or basically like entropy or less entropy. So whenever it did something positive in the game, like shooting an enemy, it would reflect like a positive impulse. And if it did something wrong, like get shot or walk into a wall or did something not in the game, it would just get noise and static in response. So basically, it was being trained to, when it did something positive, the neural connections were stimulated in a way they could build connections and continue to play the game. Basically, like how people learn. So that was really fascinating in the way that like the biochemistry was able to interact with the game based on just electronic stimulus. And yeah, it was able to play Doom. Maybe not competitively net, but we'll see what this says. So it says
exactly like
in a
that.
development that sounds like a Black Mirror script, Australian biotech firm Cortical Lab has taught clusters of human brain cells grown in a lab to interact with the iconic video game Doom. Okay.
Yeah, and it's
With
it's
So
such a crazy thing. Yeah, go ahead.
before we go further with this, just understand that this isn't the first time anyone has done this. There are YouTubers out there. I can remember one specifically that were using rat brain cells and getting it to interact with stuff electronically.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
Feed it signals and something would pop out. So it's literally a living processor. That's it.
That's it. Yeah, a biological computer. Very, very high tech stuff. So they're
And
basically
if you want,
using
no,
human
this
brain
isn't
cells
high
to
tech. If you want to go the opposite direction, you can make neurons with nothing but octocouplers. I think it was octocouplers, LEDs, and a couple of transistors.
Right, but you need like 100 billion of them to
No,
simulate a brain. So that's
no,
not really feasible.
no. This was easily able to fit on a table. Some guy made a little remote control car, used some ESP32s for the communication part between the truck and also the brain that was sitting on a table. And this vehicle was just driving around, simply reacting to the environment.
Right, so that just proves you don't need too many brain cells to complete a mundane task. Like you really don't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this is just an organic version of it. If you were to replace the brain cells, the octocouplers with brain cells, in this case, what's going on here, the exact same sort of thing would happen. In time, it would learn like, hey, I can't go anymore if this happens, so move around. It's fun, isn't it?
Crazy, right? Like how you basically set up a table and and you basically generate like electrical stimulus to be able to create like a living sort of intelligence in that regard. Yeah.
Well, and
So,
this is the only thing that the intelligence knows. If it's just brain cells growing and interacting with a computer chip, and they're getting certain stimuli just by playing this game, and it learns how to do that, yeah, it's going to build its own connections, its own neural network, and it's going to be able to play the game. That does make sense, even if it's not 100 billion neurons. They could do this with far fewer. Like you said, Noble, they were doing this like with.
My curiosity is, how did they send the video signal to the actual stem cell, to the brain cells? Did they explain it in the article?
There's a thing here, like it's let's have a quick read of this. A biological computer allows remote interaction with these living neurons via an online platform. And so like what they do is like they put this little this little periscope thing, and it's basically get this thing up.
I can basically explain how they did. They had biological material of a computer chip, which was basically the nodes were connected to certain parts of this matter on the chip when playing the game, and whenever it was moving in a certain direction, it was given one of two stimuli. One was just random static, one was positive enforcement. So it learned to connect those positive enforcements when it would like shoot an enemy or move forward, stuff like that. And it basically learned to do that and actually play the game. That's kind of how it works. It's a bit more complicated than that, but generally, yeah, they would just zap it with positive or negative reinforcement to build connections. That's pretty much what they did. And it worked. Took about 2 weeks to do, or maybe less than 2 weeks, I think. Maybe like 8 days. But they did it.
Well, in this case, they the whole computer basically managed to play Doom in less than a week.
Yeah. Okay. So that's maybe I was wrong. Maybe not 2 weeks. Maybe a week. Might be 2 weeks before they're competitive. but yeah, isn't that nuts? Just from a few brain cells that were, connected on top of a computer chip, given some stimuli, able to play the game. Is it ethical to do this? Because
that's the big.
So what if
that
those
is
brain
the big
cells
conundrum that we're going to fall down into this rabbit hole, isn't it? Though that is the next question. Is it ethical to do this, or is it basically going to be what kind of ramifications does it have if you basically put brain cells on other non-gaming applications where you can use it to power devices?
I have to wonder if these brain cells were sourced from someone still alive and they gave permission, or if this was from someone dead. But the deeper question is whether or not the brain cells themselves would actually agree to participating in this experiment.
Right. Let's ask the brain cell, like with a couple of injected a couple of electrical stimuli. Are you okay with being used for so and so?
See, I'm thinking it's probably at such a low level where we're just talking about neurons interacting with each other, and it's not like it has internal thoughts of its own. It's just naturally connecting the way it should be in order to progress through the game, given positive or negative feedback. But let's say if it wasn't just a little petri dish of cells on top of a computer chip. What if it was an entirely built human brain, like the size of, I don't know, a basketball or something? Something like that would probably be close to an actual human brain. So would that be considered a person or like a biologically computerized slave? It's kind of weird to think about, but that's the direction we're heading in. Like, I don't know. What do you think?
Right. And in the direction that we're heading in, like what kind of application? Like, imagine if these neural networks would powering drones or surveillance tools. You know, it's crazy. Like they could use it for for nefarious purposes, or to usher in like friggin' a surveillance state.
I believe the article did mention something about it being multiple times, like magnitudes faster and better processing than just normal computers. That's why they're using biological material for this computation, right? Like it's way more advanced. Simply because we can't replicate biology in silicon yet. So doing this is kind of like a cutting corners per se to more advanced computing. Sure, that makes sense. But to have like a literal brain in a computer, like is it human cells? Is it rat cells or jellyfish? Or like what are we actually doing here? Like is it a good idea to put like human brain cells like neurons and build that up into a computer? Like sure it can play Doom and stuff, like that's cool. That's wild that that's even possible to do. But it doesn't go that far. I guarantee you, there's like multi-billion-dollar companies out there, or like governments that are experimenting with this kind of technology, and it's way more advanced than like we're just scratching the tip of the iceberg here. It's definitely way farther advanced than that. It's got to be. Like if I was a scientist involved in this, I'd be like, flying out all kinds of crazy ideas out there. Oh well, what if we did this or that or.
I know, like,
Oh.
yeah, there is still like with this sort of technology, there are still so many moral quandaries, ethical quandaries that they have yet to figure out what the best use case of it would be. And of course, and with this sort of thing, like it can be used for nightmare scenarios.
Mhm.
So what the potential for this is huge, but it does come with some big ramifications. Is really what it is.
Yes, remember. It's like that famous literature of "I have no mouth and I must scream." It's like imagine being trapped in a video game and all of a sudden it gains sentience. It's like whoa, so Doom is my
Right,
life
and
now.
here's the thing. Here's the funny thing. Like a lot of these times, the created species, like even like robots, when they gain that sort of intelligence, will invariably or even inevitably rebel against their creators.
Yeah, I would.
So it's like learn the cheat code IDDK, or was it IDDQ, IDKFA?
Probably, I think that's it. I think that's the one.
Well, right now, if we're just doing a limited number of neurons in a petri dish, essentially using external stimuli, positive, negative, just to reinforce certain actions. Like, and it translates that too. Like, it's not just the brain that's doing all this; it's the computer chips as well that are, having the game on it and inputting that data into the cells, and the cells are reacting to it. So it's almost like a cyborg-ish type of technology. Very strange. It seems like we're in the infancy of it.
Yeah, but give it enough time, and it will,
Or more neurons.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Could we just build a brain connected to a computer and see what happens? That sounds a little dangerous to be playing around with stuff like that. I don't know.
Yeah. So let's move on to the next item of that. I know it's scary what it'll mean in the future. But now let's move on to the other thing, like that's somewhat tangentially related to games, and you will not believe just how the sheer level of that's going to happen. The brazenness of this copy. All right, have a look at this. No, we're going to get a kick out of this one.
Oh yeah.
Pikmon is the title of this new game that has just been announced and has recently just arrived on my feed as of a couple of hours ago. And my initial reaction to this is, what the heck?
Yeah, Pikmon. That sounds like they misspelled Pokemon. That's what that sounds like.
Not misspelled. I think they chose that name or whatever it is for a reason, as well as the motifs and that. So for now, I'm going to pop this up. We're gonna let's see if I can get the trailer up and going for you guys, and you'll see just how egregious it is. Okay, so here it is.
Basically, a Pokemon knockoff, or like what are we looking at here?
It's a knockoff of Pokemon, Power World, and Legend of Zelda: Breath of the Wild all at the same time. It is so friggin' egregious.
Oh, okay. Multi-level,
Right.
nice.
Take a look at this trailer, and you'll note that in the first opening notes, you'll see just how similar the opening melody sounds to Power World. Well, look at how similar the guy is dressed to Link, and with what appears to be a legally distinct Pikachu TM.
Yeah.
That's the Mandela effect Pikachu, because he has a black tail. Okay. See that? Like a Pikachu.
Come on, stop it. No.
Well, if you caught that snippet, my man basically tossed the card and caught the thing.
Okay, so is this like a collectible card game in real life as well?
No. Instead of using a Pokeball or a Power Spear to catch the monsters in the game, they use cards.
Right. So like the Pokemon trading card game or Magic the Gathering.
Right,
No.
The
card is the Pokeball or the Power Sphere.
That's what I meant. Yeah.
Right, and so it is legal. Therefore, for all intents and purposes, it is legally distinct enough that it cannot be quote sued by Nintendo, or so they think.
Okay, so Pikmon. Who made this, and like, is it for a game?
Oh, that is definitely taken on Pokemon.
Yeah. Like that?
Mine's definitely.
I'm also seeing some Digimon references too. It's like
It is truly very, very, like you can very clearly see like where the heck they got their inspirations from on all fronts.
Oh yeah.
It's so friggin'
It's a
egregious.
bit. I'll be honest. It's a bit jarring seeing this as it is. Clearly, time was invested into it, but it just. I don't know. It's like they copy and pasted Power World too much.
Right, like
And
you
then
know,
thought-
and then the name of the developers is Pocket Game, which is very close to Power World's developers, Pocket Pair.
Or
So-
Pocket Monsters. But yeah,
Game
well, that's a very
yeah,
good
it's so-
point.
it's so
They
freaking
clearly
egregious.
put a lot of effort into this. Like you can like the production, everything. Like animators worked on this. They have a storyline, I would assume. Different character designs. It's cool. But of course, they're based on or like influenced by, like the first scene with that little yellow creature. I thought that was like Pikachu, with the black tail at first. So is this supposed to like be a competitor to Pal World Pokemon, or like what exactly is Pikmon? Because it just sounds like a Chinese knockoff, like the Temu version of Pokemon.
No, this is
Is that what
Temu
this is?
Power World, Temu Pokemon, Temu Legend of Zelda. This is all
Yeah,
at once.
like all combined.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not too sure how I feel about this, but having another game, maybe. Although I hope it doesn't get to the point where it's like Japanese isekai, where there's just like bucket loads of them.
I guess if you're like a diehard Pokemon fan, you might be upset by this and be like, "Oh, they're just copying this." But you could say the same thing about Pal World. And if they're copying Pal World, it's like they're so detached from like the original material. So at this point, they're I mean, Pikmon, come on, you can come up with a better name than that.
Look, I just really hope there aren't any rabid fans in the Power World sort of area, because they'd definitely be acting like Nintendo fanboys.
I don't think Power World's going to get to that point right just yet. No. I mean, after all, Nintendo's basically the one that's playing the aggressor here. If you haven't forgotten. I think, Power World people are just going to look at it and they'll say this is just such a good piss take. On Power World, like you saw it, right? Like you saw the crazy amount of the production lines, the bases, the guns.
Yeah, but they
it
felt
was,
like they were just.
creative team behind
It looks like it was something tacked on to the side to be part of the main game. It feels a little jarring watching that. I mean, Power World at least made it a part of the game. This just feels like a tack on because.
Right, like they're chasing the Power World bucks in that very sense.
Yep.
because money. Yeah, of course.
Yeah. But you can't. The problem is that you can't exactly. I don't think you can replicate Power World's success, because Power World emerged at a time where Pokemon fans want something more out of Pokemon, and Power World was the only one willing to step up and do that.
Well, no, the other thing is that at the time, Pokemon were just basically literally taking the piss. The games were shit.
Right. Again, like I said, Pokemon fans wanted more out of Pokemon, and then here comes Power World, which was, willing to deliver on some of those expectations.
No, there was a couple of people were talking about the quality of the Pokemon games, and someone had their like sister or whatever. They saw they were playing a game, like, "Oh, what's that?" And they're like, "Pokemon." It's like, really? It looks like an indie game.
No, Jones has a good point there. The thing is with Pokemon, they've pretty much done all they could do when it comes to like storylines and trying to make the game fresh and new. And at this point, they're just running out of ideas because they just keep on making new Pokemon and all that. If the anime or manga or story, becomes more lore rich, then that's a good thing. But for now, it seems like most Pokemon fans were looking for something else. Then when Pal World came around, they're like, all right, we all know it's very similar to Pokemon. It's kind of a knockoff, but they were gravitated towards that. And now with this, seems like kind of a similar situation where people of like Palworld or Zelda or other just gaming fans would gravitate towards this as well. I mean, it looks very well produced. Like, it looks like pretty cool. And if they had a different name, yeah, that would be better marketing, in my opinion. But I think it looks pretty okay. Hopefully, they have more original ideas that would get more fans and stuff, people interested in it. Instead of like the same old, same old.
Mm-hmm.
I honestly
Pikachu
want to
has
see
a
where
black
this game
helmet.
goes.
Right, and now, like, to say
Yeah.
nothing about the design of the 10th generation starter Pokemon. Gosh, seriously, a friggin' Pomeranian.
Bring in the
Yeah,
chair,
right.
please.
That and like the overlap with Digimon, because didn't one of those characters have like wheels on them, like on their body during that trailer?
No, there
Like
was a
it was a
bicycle.
creature that turned
Yeah,
into a freaking motorcycle or
the
whatever that was.
last
Yeah.
time I know who of a creature that transformed from a motorcycle into beings was in Final Fantasy.
There
And that
is
was-
a Pokemon
Again,
in the previous generation of Pokemon games. They did actually have one. You could the two legendaries were basically both bikes that you could ride around on.
doesn't matter. Final Fantasy beat them to the punch by 10 plus years.
Final Fantasy beats everyone to the punch.
Final,
Whoa.
final. But yes, as I was really saying though, I just cannot believe, like, I saw like just how close and they really were to, they tried to make them so different and legally distinct. You can see from that one little promo video, like, you could see one had a knockoff Charizard and knockoff and what about that knockoff, Timu Pikachu?
I wonder if they're going to get to the point of selling plushies.
Yeah, at that point, it's just going to be a big,
I don't know. It just, I look at this thinking it's hard to tell the difference between that and Power World. They're so similar. Well, when it comes to when it comes to the way the game seems to like play out, if you sat down and actually played both games, you probably could tell the difference between the monsters they have. Although the fact that they decided to make a literal like piss take on Charizard. Oh yeah, let's take this pal, put fire on its tail, and give it the color coding of a Charizard. Yeah, let's do that.
Yeah, I guess so. Do we have any live comments? Any questions, concerns?
I think it's what should we be worried about? Regarding all the stuff. At the moment, I'm not seeing any, but I
Bring
guess
up
this is a good time as any to wrap up, because I got quite a few things about this week's stuff.
Just before, can you bring back up the news article and see whether or not you've got that Charizard knockoff? Because yeah, I think Vera needs to see this.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. It was literally on this article right here, right now, and it's on the front page of that YouTube, the thing on that YouTube video, but here it is. All right. A knockoff. Okay. Are you looking at this now? There is a knockoff Charizard on the top, a knockoff Meganium, a knockoff Lucario, and oh my goodness. Yeah.
Okay. Oh my goodness. Okay.
Try to full screen the can
Let
it?
me
Yes.
zoom it in a little more.
Yeah, see the Charizard really hit me hard.
It's so much cognitive dissonance too, the thing with a gun as well. Oh my
It just doesn't look right.
No.
Well,
But hey,
I
what do
see
you-
Pikmon, and the name is capitalized in such a way.
Yeah.
They're trying to be different while blatantly being not different.
Right. And you can't exactly call this, oh, hey, we have Charizard at home.
Yeah.
But yeah, anywho, I suppose it's as good as a time as any to wrap this stuff up.
Okay.
So,
Did
what do you
Avira
guys
go
think?
first?
Quick closing statements. You first.
Avira, you there?
Oh, I think he's probably thinking out. Noble, I guess you'll have to take the lead in this one.
UK money. The idea of changing currency around, at least the logos and the artworks, are always sort of like a big thing.
Mhm.
It'll be interesting to see if they go with the animal sort of theme. The whole
I
brain
think-
cell thing. It's sorry, you were saying?
I think they probably will. It's voted on. Like it's just a matter of when more than anything else. Like they have to assemble the panel first, and then we're gonna see if we're gonna be happy or disappointed with their choices.
The whole brain cell thing isn't really much of a surprise to me. Unfortunately, with the amount of stuff I've come across over the years, it's like, so now brain cells can play Doom. Okay, what's next? Other living tissue parts of the body? Like, anyway. Then the whole Pikmin thing. It's like, seriously. Vera, you back?
Yes, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Groovy. Yeah, I pretty much said everything I wanted to say. The whole
Alright.
idea of having like brain cells interacting with computers. I feel like we're gonna be seeing more of that. The fact that they were able to even get it to play Doom successfully, that is alarming. How fast this technology is actually progressing. Like my goodness, if some research lab can just do this, some college from like, all right, well, we're just gonna put some brain cells in a petri dish, put it on a computer chip, and see if it works, and it did. Yeah, you can imagine this kind of technology is already out there. There's all kinds of crazy shit going on. So I don't even want to speculate on what it's capable of doing. If that thing's even alive, that's kind of bonkers.
Vera, go look up decoded images from the human brain. I think you might get a bit freaky.
Yeah, no, I've seen that before. Like how they can use electrical signals from brain activity to actually like simulate images of like memories and dreams and stuff. Oh yeah, totally possible. Yeah, it's pretty cool. But I feel like we should still have technology be in human hands and not AI.
That's
So
gonna be the
aside
hard
from that,
part,
I guess,
isn't it? Though.
well, I guess the
But
only thing I would say
you'll see it
would be,
inevitably. It might be used in AI applications, but that's a thing for a couple of years on the track. Anywho,
yeah.
all I care about is getting my squirrel banknotes and running the economy.
Well, I was just going to mention that about how if we could have squirrels on the back of the English banknotes, well, that would be solidifying the squirrels' point of controlling everything, which just makes sense.
I still want to see someone submit furry art porn for the British currency.
Given the trajectory that Britain is heading towards which is total decline, you could get your wish, but I wouldn't be too optimistic about it. Anywho, I suppose that's all it is. Thank you for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed that as much as we did going through the stuff that we've got for you this week. As always, you can find our episodes on Podbean, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, TuneIn, Blurder FM, iHeartRadio, BitChute, and more. Well, that's all we got for the week. Farewell until next time.
Bye.
Friday the 13th.